Hello, teacher. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Pretty good. Thanks for asking.
That's nice. All right. I'm also calling the other participants. Now you are Viviana, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna write down your name. Viviana. All right. I'm also trying to call Hans and Hil Arias. In the meantime, I'm gonna share my screen. And Viviana, I'm gonna please ask you to mute your microphone. And whenever I ask you something, you can unmute yourself and just answer. Thank you.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, I'm just sharing my screen right now. And as you know, today's topic is about writing. This is the first week. And what's new about the OLC, also known as the Online Language Community? This is a new segment, and it's just focused on writing. Because we notice most of our students have very good sense of grammar, very good sense of reading, listening, but writing, we need to improve that. So that's why we're creating that. Now, this is the first week. It's gonna be 10 weeks, and I think someone joined. Okay, hello,
Hello.
hello. Hey, can you please tell me what's your name?
Okay, my name is Helen Arias, and that's all.
Helen.
And
All
what
right,
about
thank you
you?
for
What's
coming.
your name,
I am David.
Professor? Ah, okay, David. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Helen. And we also have Hans. Hello, Hans.
Hello, good morning.
Good
How are you
morning.
doing?
Very good, thank you. All right. So, guys, please mute your microphones.
Okay.
And whenever I ask you something, then you can unmute yourselves so that we have a better um, development of the lesson. All right. So I had my presentation here. And as I was saying, this is a writing section of the OLC. This is the first week. It's going to be focused on writing. We're not going to be talking about so much about grammar or use of language. It's just about writing. This is the first week, and it's gonna be 10 weeks. Now, every week is gonna have a very specific topic. Okay, give me just 1 second. Yeah, so I can count the time. All right. Every week is gonna have a very specific topic. Today's topic is about life skills. So whenever we encounter a terminology that's hard to decipher, my advice is to always make the two words as if they were heads here and tail. So the tail is gonna always contain the most information of the whole sentence, of the whole phrase in this case. Skills. So first we wanna need to know what are skills, and by knowing what are life skills, we can talk about life skills. So what are life skills? And for this, I'd like to Bibiana to tell me what are skills for you in general. So you can unmute yourself, Bibiana, and tell me what are life skills? What are skills, sorry, in general?
In general, okay, teacher. Um, Writing, speaking, reading. I think grammar too is important. Mm, yes, that's it.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you're talking about skills in the sense of competences. you're right, they are competences, and they usually help us to do something. Help us to do something.
Are you asking to me?
Uh,
Teacher?
I asked Viviana.
Okay.
Mhm. Thank you.
In my okay, I have some problems with my writing skills, and I think a little bit with my speaking, because sometimes I am thinking in Spanish, and then I am going to translate that sentence in English, and that is my main problem. But I think that the most important is the most important problem in my skills is the writing.
Right.
Organize the ideas, put in order well, or gave a sense in the sentence, or in a summary, when it's a summary. Yes.
Mhm.
When it's a text for the university, complex text, that is the most difficult for me.
Okay, we're gonna improve that by now. So thank you for your participation. That was very good.
Thank you.
All right. So what we can say about life skills is that they are things that help us to do something. We can call those things skills. We can call those competences. We can call those abilities. And that is in general terms. So abilities also. So they're abilities. And remember, the heads is the second information that we have. So skills for what? For life. Things that are gonna help us to do better in life. So for this, I'd like Hans to tell me, can you give me an example of a life skill?
The ability to gain knowledge, or use our brain ability to develop things. That could be a life skill.
That's very good. Yeah, normally, not many people will take that as a life skill, but gain knowledge is very important, and also be ready to gain knowledge. I agree with you. Thank you for that. So yeah, we have the ability to gain knowledge. Some people also consider the ability to cook. Cooking is very important for your surviving. The ability to drive a car. Those are life skills. In the proper sense of the things are gonna help us to do better in life. Okay, so what is today's agenda? Today's agenda is mainly about the importance of the paragraph. Then we're gonna talk about how to find inspiration. We're gonna also talk about what not to do when we write. Also some advices on what to do. And finally, we're gonna have some practice. And that's gonna be write an introductory paragraph on the topic of life skills. So let's start. Now, the importance of the paragraph. For this, I like to open this book written by Hannes, and it's about Schopenhauer. I think it's a very good example of what we should do when we write. Okay, this is the book. And as the first thing we notice is that the author has a division between paragraphs. Here's the first paragraph. It's quite long. It's understandable because that's the introduction. And then when we have the second paragraph, here's the third paragraph, and so on. How do we know where's a paragraph? So we know because it starts with a capital letter right here. I'm highlighting it. And it ends with a full stop. and it's right here. This is how we know that is a paragraph. Also, in the case of academic writing, it's very important to start paragraphs with an indentation. So what's an indentation? An indentation is a little space that's after the paragraph. I'm gonna try to highlight it here. Give me just 1 second. No. Comment, yeah. So let's imagine a line here on the left. We have the line and here's a space. We have the line and here's another space. So those voids, we call them indentations. And in universities, in college and schools, we always start the paragraph with an indentation. How do we do an indentation? Let me do it for you right here. Okay. So here's your keyboard, right? This is where you write. Here's your space bar. Here's your enter. And right here, it's a key that looks like this. It's 2 arrows looking on the opposite direction. And that key is called tab. So in order to make those indentations, like you start here, then the next line is here, here. This one, you just need to press tab. Press tab, and you're gonna start with an indentation. All right, let's continue. I'm gonna go back to the writing. Okay. So notice how the author is starting this paragraph. I'm gonna read it for you. Here's the first sentence. This book is an introduction to the philosophy of Arthur Schopenhauer, written in a personal style. That is a very good start of a paragraph. It's just one simple sentence, and he's just telling us what's this book gonna be about. Then he follows that with the next sentence. Is this one. Okay. I am to connect Schopenhauer's ideas with ongoing debates in philosophy and to invite readers to tackle Schopenhauer's work on their own. There's a second idea of the goal of this reading. Next sentence. Another aim is to increase general appreciation of Schopenhauer's subliminal influence on other much-studied thinkers. Right. So far, we have 3 sentences. Here's an exemplification. For example, I see many scholars nowadays working on Wittgenstein. Very short sentence right there. Then, here we start with while. This is a complex sentence because it has multiple subjects. While these scholars may be dimly aware that Schopenhauer was an influence on the subject, most of them seem never to have actually read Schopenhauer. The next sentence is, Schopenhauer is also influentially appreciated as one of the fathers of psychoanalysis and existentialism. And then, our final sentence. To some extent, I would like to remedy this situation and get Schopenhauer more of credit he deserves. Okay, so what we can see about this paragraph is that this paragraph is a group of multiple sentences. There are about 6 sentences in this paragraph. It's I will say it's a quite long paragraph. However, since we're talking about an introductory paragraph, it's fine, it's not a problem. Normally, most writers suggest using 4 sentences by each paragraph. I'm gonna write it. Advice. Okay. Paragraph. I use another color. How many sentences? 4. You can write 6, 7, 10, but it's gonna be it's gonna cause problems on the part of your reader. You want to make things simple. So a good start is make 4 sentences by each paragraph. All right, let's continue. Now, most sentences, also notice that they start with the subject here. This book is an introduction to the philosophy of Arthur Schopenhauer. This book is the subject. It's very important when we write in English to start always with the subject. In Spanish, on the other hand, we start with non-grammatical words. For example, through this topic, you will see this and that. Or according to this, you will see this. So we do that in Spanish, that's fine. But in English, it's very important to always start with the subject. And that we also call it active voice. All right. So that was my example about a proper paragraph. 6 sentences in this case, and always starting with the subject. So let's continue with our presentation. Now, when we write, we also need to find some kind of inspiration. So my first advice in this topic of inspiration is read as much as you can. You want to be a good writer, you need to be a good reader. In the case of reading, it's a good idea to read literature. It's fine if you guys read, for example, I don't know, mangas or academic writing, historic writings, but literature really enhances your vocabulary, your punctuation, your grammar, everything at once. So start reading a book. If you've never read a book in English, a piece of literature, you can start by reading Harry Potter. The first book is The Sorcerer's Stone. It's very good. It's quite entertaining. Most of you already know the movie, so you're gonna be able to relate what's written to the actions of the movie that you've seen in the past. So Harry Potter, try to read that. It's very easy to find. You're gonna find it everywhere for free, and it's gonna improve your writing just by reading. Now, since this topic is about life skills, we're gonna be reading a little bit about a text on life skills. So this is the link. I have it already here. And I'm gonna read it for you. It's just 4 paragraphs. The first one is the introduction. Then the 2 following paragraphs are the main ideas of argument. Here's the argument of the writer. And finally, the final paragraph is a summary of what the reader has just said. So let's look at the first paragraph. Nowadays, some schools are teaching life skills as well as traditional subjects. Some people say this prepares students better for life in the real world, whereas others say it is not necessary. So what we can find about this paragraph is that there are just 2 sentences. This is fine. You can write 2 sentences. It's a very short paragraph, but since This is an example of a school text, so it's fine for that. Only 2 sentences. What's important is to never ever do a 1-sentence paragraph, and this is something that I see always in the students of this university. Never do a paragraph of 1 sentence. Okay, let's continue. In my opinion, school should prepare students for adult life. Financial skills such as budget planning and saving money are essential to avoid falling into debt. It would also be a good idea to learn basic cooking, as this is fundamental for survival when you are living on your own. So the argument is that this writer is saying that schools should teach life skills. Now, here's another argument. On the other hand, it's contradicting the second paragraph. On the other hand, some people argue that there is no time for extra subjects at school and that life skills should be learned at home. Personally, I think we already learn many life skills while doing traditional subjects. For example, we learn teamworking by doing group projects, and organizing our homework teaches us time management skills. Finally, we have the final paragraph. To sum up, I believe all schools should teach life skills. It will not require too much extra work because there is no need to teach them separately from conventional subjects. This will make sure that students leave school better prepared for university and work. So what's the general idea here? Life skills. And for this, I will like to ask Helen, what is this reading about? What was the gist of this text? Helen, so unmute yourself and tell me.
Well, basically, I think that the text is about life skills that tell us that life skills should be taught in a school. And it shows us some examples the reason why they should be implemented in the school.
That was excellent. There you go. Thank you, Helen. That was very good. So let me write it here. In this case, we need to talk about life skills. Life skills. If you notice, the writer of this text is not talking about life skills themselves. He's talking about the approach to life skills according to schools. So this is a good way to start by gathering or reading's attention, because we're not talking about generalities. We're talking about something that's very close and very specific to ourselves, and that is schools, and how schools should be teaching the topic of life skills. On the other hand, some people argue that no, it's not necessary. So that is a good example of a text on the topic of life skills. You can talk about anything about life skills. Like, for example, Hans was talking about the gaining of knowledge. He himself could start a text on that, and that's gonna be perfect. It's gonna be actually more than good to start a topic like that. Alright, so let's continue. That's how we find inspiration. Sometimes it's very hard for us to continue with a writing. We start with the first paragraph and then we don't know where to go. So read, and all of the reading is gonna give you good inspiration. Alright, so what not to do? In this example, I have taken an introductory paragraph made by one student for the course of Pedagogical Experience 1. And the title is why grammar shouldn't be taught in schools. And he says this: through this project will be shown how important is the grammar when learning a second language. It does not matter our English level sometimes. The students even with a C1 level make mistakes in grammar. Knowledge of grammar helps the student in the correction of mistakes and improvement of written documents. Alright, so according to what I have just said, what's the first mistake that we notice? I'm gonna give you guys the first mistake, and this is an entire paragraph. First mistake, he's only using one sentence. From here to here. And that's his paragraph. Now, paragraphs should never have one sentence. They should at least have two sentences. In this case, he had many opportunities to put a full stop. Now, I want you guys to tell me what other mistakes you see. For this, I like to ask Hans, what mistake do you find in this paragraph?
By writing this project.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Now that I think that he should have started the paragraph with the word project.
Very well.
Through this project.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, thank you for that, Hans. He starts with a non-grammatical word. Through this project will be shown how important is the grammar when learning a second language. Instead, okay, I'm gonna write the mistakes here. Mistakes. He doesn't start. Does not start with the subject. And what is the reason for that? So, through this project will be shown how important is the grammar when learning a second language. The reason for that is that in Spanish, we are allowed to start sentences like that. Imagine, in Spanish will be something like this. A través de este proyecto se va a mostrar qué tan importante es la gramática cuando se aprende una segunda lengua. That's completely fine if we were talking in Spanish. However, when we translate that into English, it doesn't make much sense because of the active voice. We should always start with the subject. Instead, what he should have done was, this project will show how important is grammar for the learning of a second language. It's even more simple if you notice. This project will show how important is the grammar, like that. Instead of, through this project will be shown how important is the grammar. So there you notice that the difference. Now, Viviana, do you notice any other mistakes in this sentence? In this, well, it's a sentence, in this paragraph?
In this paragraph, let me see. Teacher, I will be honest, I don't know.
That's fine, don't worry. Anybody of you guys see other mistakes?
Probably, as you said, this project will show how important is the grammar we're learning in second language. Full stop. Although our English level sometimes is not good or something like that. I think, I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, it's exactly there. So here, it's not a comma, it's a full stop. Now he can start another sentence. And yeah, you can start, although it does not matter our English level. Sometimes the students, even with the C1 level, make mistakes in grammar. Okay, well, here we have various grammar mistakes that we're not gonna acknowledge because we're only talking about writing structure. So here's a full stop. Then it does not matter with English level, even make mistakes in grammar. Here's another full stop. Knowledge of grammar helps the student in the correction of mistakes and improvement of reading documents. All right, so what's the third mistakes? There are no full stops. Full stop is this little dot. All right, now what to do on the opposite hand. So start with subjects. In that case, the guy started through this project will be shown how important is the grammar. It's grammatically fine except for the shown will be shown. But start with the subject. This project will show. It makes a huge difference. Another advice that I have for you: stop using the word very important. Instead, use essential, crucial, imperative, and so on. Because whenever you use very important in a text, you're gonna come up as someone who does speak English. Yes, you speak English, but maybe your level is not as high as it should be. So stop using very important. Instead, use essential, crucial, imperative, and many other words that you can come up with. All right, now let's go with the practice. Okay, I think someone just wrote something relevant. Okay, thank you. All right, now this is the practice section. So I want you to write an introductory paragraph on the topic of life skills. Make it two sentences, all right? If you feel it's necessary, make it 3 sentences. But what's important is to stop writing 1 sentence paragraphs, all right? And you're gonna write that on the topic of life skills. Now for this, please write it on Skype, and I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes for that, guys. Starting now. So I'm gonna mute myself, and I'll be back in 5 minutes. Okay, thank you, Hans. I got the first paragraph from one of you, so I'm gonna read it. If you haven't finished, girls, take your time. I'm gonna read it, and you can send it when you're finished. Now, Hans' paragraph. Life skills are abilities necessary for having really good life. Very good there. You started with a subject. You have a little grammar mistake, but that's not relevant since we're focusing isn't just writing structure. I'm sure that was a typo. Then we have human beings through study have developed many tools that allow us to survive. Excellent. That was a good follow-up to your first sentence. For this reason, it is crucial to understand how well prepared we are for face our life. That was a very good paragraph. You did 3 sentences. Yeah, I noticed. It was a typo. It was not actually a grammar mistake. And all right, so 3 sentences. Each of them follow very well. Each one of them, there's coherence and correlation. 3 sentences there. Very good, Hans. Alright, now girls, for the rest of you, you have 1 more minute to finish your paragraphs. Okay, I have the paragraph made by Helen. I'm gonna read it. Life skills are abilities which aims to help people to develop and to act correctly in a real situation. Full stop. Very good sentence. You start with a subject and then with a full stop. Now there's a second sentence. There are grounds of believing that life skills are crucial. Very good. You didn't use very important. Appreciate that. In order to have good life, since it attempts to make life better. Now in this second sentence, you use a more complex type of sentence, and that's due to the use of the comma. Very good. On the following sessions that we have, we're gonna talk about the use of the comma, of the colon, and the hyphens. So that was very good, Helen. Thank you. Now we just need the paragraph made by Viviana. I got it right now. Narrated Viviana. So, in the life, it's very important to have different skills. So, well, in the life can be considered as subject, yes. However, since you start with a preposition, we should try to avoid that. Instead, use avoid using the preposition in, and start by using a subject. For example, You said in the life it's very important to have different skills. You should say different skills are important to have in life. This is your subject. You should start with different skills are very important for life. All right. During the school you gain different knowledge, but is enough for life? Very good use of question mark. And then you start the next sentence. You said develop different skills in other fields. Our life help us to have better life and better opportunities. So very well in the case of writing, you use the advices. You use 2 sentences, which is the right thing to do, as opposed to 1 sentence. However, just as I mentioned, avoid start a sentence with a preposition and start by using a subject. And that's it. Thank you, Vipana. You did very good. Now let's go back to the presentation. Okay, you're typing something. Thanks. No, thanks to you. Well, let's go back. Now we're gonna address the summary. So, you want to be a good writer, you need to be a good reader. Start by reading. Read literature. As I mentioned, you can start by reading Harry Potter. It's gonna improve your reading hugely. Not only writing, but grammar, use of language, and so on. Now, keep an eye on your paragraphs. Paragraphs are the most important thing about texts, because that's our window for us readers to what you have to say. So keep an eye on your paragraphs means use more than 1 sentence, use full stops, and so on. And here I write, stop using your L1. So when we write in English, it's very different from writing in Spanish. The main mistake of this paragraph was not that the user said the paragraph using 1 sentence. It was that he was writing just as he was writing in Spanish. So I try to avoid that, and because English follows quite a different structure when we write. And that's what I mean by stop using your L1. Now, this is the end of our lesson.
Teacher,
I am wondering
excuse
if you
me.
have questions. Yeah?
Are you sharing the screen?
No.
Because okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I forget, but it was just the summary.
Yes, because okay.
Thank you. So, this is the summary. The summary says, start reading. What is reading? Start reading literature. Start reading Harry Potter. Then, second, keep an eye on your paragraphs. Keep an eye on your paragraphs is just what I mentioned. Start by using a subject and use more than 1 sentence. Finally, stop using your L1. What I meant by that is stop using Spanish as a form of writing structure, because the structure of English is quite different. And that's it for this lesson. Yeah, Hans, you may ask something. Please go ahead.
Okay, I have 2 questions. The first one is there any web page that you can recommend us to practice?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a good idea to practice writing with a web page. You should practice by reading. In the case if you want to have more vocabulary, I use this web page. I'm gonna share it right now. And that's gonna give you tips on what type of word is gonna give you a better sense of opinion, how to start an argument, how to start a sentence that is a conclusion or a summary. That is a good web page. However, If you really want to improve, just read more, and that's gonna make a huge difference.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is related with you mentioned at the end of the lesson that we are gonna have like these weekly encounters each week. But I just saw I was looking for that information. Only found that it's only for this weekend. Are they gonna post it like a weekly encounter
Yeah,
for this grammar?
normally you find
Right.
the sheets every Friday. The second one should be ready by now. Teachers of your English subjects like English 1, English 2 are the ones that are responsible to share those sheets. And there you can fill in your participation. If you don't see it right now, maybe check it on Monday, and it's gonna be there. It's weekly. In the case of myself, I'm gonna be every Saturday, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Okay, Hans. So Viviana or Helen, do you have any other question?
No, Professor, everything is okay.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your attendance.
No, teacher. Thanks.
I hope you have a good day today, and this is my goodbye. Well, take care, guys.
Bye-bye, Professor.
Goodbye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a good one. Bye.
You too. Goodbye.